Okay, now we're recording. So the problem with calls like this, it's easy to be distracted. So make sure you're paying attention, all right, for the next 60 minutes, all right? So first of all, what I want to show you guys, so let me get out of the screen here. Now we have new power agents on the call. So I want to, and even for, you know, our current power agents that have been with us for a while, I want to show you something of some of the cool stuff that we have. So I'm going to be talking here. If you go to the Power Program website, and you don't have to do it now, but when you go to monthly sessions, not monthly sessions, although we have, all right, while I'm here, sorry gang. So we interviewed a top agent this month, Rachel Rose, great interview. There's a magazine for her. There's previous months, right? So what I want to show you here, if you go to Classroom, we keep improving the website here. There is a tremendous amount of stuff here that we've uploaded for you guys. And what's new, there's a tab here for what's new. And these are the things that we added in May. And I just want to point out one of the things here, actually, for those of you that can see it on the screen, on my screen right now, I'm showing you social media graphics to get buyers and sellers off the fence. We posted this image that you'll see on the screen, those of you that can see the screen. We posted this on the Facebook group on April, let me see what the date was there, April 26th. These are all images that you can use in social media, and where they are is if you go to what's new on the Power Program website under Classroom. I'm just going to show you one graphic now. Still on the fence about buying your dream house. Interest rates are on the rise. The time to buy now. Call me. So this is designed where you can take that graphic and post it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. So you can download these. If usually what you can do when you click on an image, if you then right-click on it, for those of you that are not tech savvy, it says Save Image As, and then you can save that image right to your computer, and then it'll be easy for you to share. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff in here. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I do want to show you a few? Oh, gosh, there's so much. Probably I shouldn't do this because I can do a whole call just on all the stuff that's here. Now, some of the questions that we got this month are on getting listing leads and stuff. If you go under farming and self-promotion, there's all the social graphics. Great job, Julie, for adding the new. I'm going to talk about this Facebook Live ideas, which is right here. We're going to talk about this in a minute because somebody asked a question about getting leads via social media. So that is there. Let me go to another one just to show you. And give me a second. I made a list. Boy, you know what? I'm not going to do this. It's just way too much. Gang, there is so much stuff here. You just take the time. If you have a question about something, you have a question about handling objections, building a team, self-promotion, working with buyers, negotiating, just go in here. There is a ton of stuff for you, okay? All right. Now, with that said, let me talk to you about my experience that I've been having recently. And, by the way, you're all on mute. So if you want to take yourself off mute, you can hit *6 if you called in. If you're using your computer, I'm not sure how to do that. There's probably a place to do that. And, of course, you can send us a message in this little chat window here, and Julie will answer the questions for you. And, Julie, you'll tell me. Julie, you're back on mute, so if you want to talk to me, I have to hit *6. I think. Julie, are you available? Can you talk? Julie, do me a favor. Make sure you...
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Great. So, Julie, if there's a question that comes in, you want to interrupt me, Julie, just interrupt me, okay? Perfect. And then I'll decide if I want to answer it or not. So don't feel free to answer me, interrupt me. All right. Now, listen, gang, I made some notes here. I'm looking at this. So recently I've been looking at buying an investment property on Long Island, and I've been going through some really horrible experiences, but it's taught me to share some things with you. You know, right now, for a lot of parts of the country, inventory is down, right? And there's certain things that you need to do to make sure that if you do get the opportunity to get a listing, you want to help that homeowner get the highest price. I'm going to tell you about a house that I was looking at. It was listed for listed at $250. It sold for $237. So the homeowner came down in price, obviously, but it sold in 22 days. Now, the problem that I have about that, number one, is maybe the homeowner wanted to sell quickly, and that's fine. But in my opinion, here's what I noticed didn't happen with this particular listing. It was vacant. There was no lockbox on it. There was no open house done on it. What I would have done if I were the listing agent, if I knew this was priced to sell, which it obviously was, to have it sell in 22 days, what I would have done is I would have put in the MLS that all offers are going to be heard on such and such date. So I would give it some marketing time to get a lot of showings as much as possible, and almost like an auction concept that all offers can be put in, but they're going to be held until this specific date when they're going to be heard. That probably would have resulted in the house still selling within 30 days, but at a much higher price because there would have been a lot more offers. The other thing I would have done is I would have done an open house. It's just amazing to me. This house is on a main road, and if this agent had done an open house, they would have got a tremendous amount of street traffic. There were bad photos. There was no lockbox. It was vacant. Not having a lockbox, that's also a sin on a vacant property. So those are some of the things I want to share with you about that. That's number one. Number two is in presenting offers. So we've been negotiating on one particular property, and here's some things that I've also learned. It's really important that you try and put deals together quickly. The more a buyer has to wait to hear an answer, the more frustrated the buyer is getting, and they may just pull out of the deal because they have this sense, you know what, if it's this hard to put this together, maybe it's not meant to be for me. And so you don't want a buyer going down that path. Now, if for some reason it is taking longer than everybody would like, the way to kind of handle that is you've got to be in touch with that buyer and or that seller throughout the process. What adds frustrations for buyers and sellers is not hearing what's going on. So you want to keep them in the loop. It's possible you may have to call them twice or three times a day, but keep them part of the process. Otherwise, they're going to get frustrated. Communicate, confirming data. You know, some of these listings that I've been looking at, data is wrong, taxes are wrong, square footage is wrong. There is a commercial piece of property that actually was a home that could have been converted back to a home. There's no information about how many bedrooms it has that's being used as an office now. In other words, that remarks section, sometimes I think what I've noticed agents do is if there isn't a field for it, they're not going to fill it out. So if you're putting a listing in as a commercial, you know, there may not be a place for bedrooms and baths, but if this was a residential home that's being used as a doctor's office or something, well, what if somebody wanted to convert it back as a rental? You should communicate in the remarks section that here's how many rooms the property has and how many can be converted back to a bedroom if one chooses to do so. You know, again, we have to put that extra work into our listings because that's what we're getting hired for. Also, I'm amazed. I see some photos. There's like 10 photos. They're all outside and there's none inside. All right, why? Maybe because there's a tenant and they're going to be pushing back. Well, the homeowner's got to make sure that the agent can get in to take those inside photos. It's still the homeowner's house. So there's another problem that I found. Make sure, okay, now here's something I want to show you guys. For those, we put this on the vendors. Let's go to the vendor page here. Where are the vendors? There it is, recommended vendors. I want to show you guys something super cool. This is super cool. For any of you that have vacant homes, I want you to check this out. We saw a listing online that actually had this, and it blew my mind. For those of you who can see my screen, you'll see an empty room, and then miraculously you'll see this incredible graphic. It is virtual furniture, that it can take an empty room and add furniture to the room, and I got to tell you, this is off the hook. I love this. And I'll tell you, everything that I show you, like this here, this is also a great listing tool. Let's say you go on a listing appointment, you've got this investor or homeowner, they moved out of the property, it's vacant. You'll show them this is one of the things that you do to help get the property sold because it makes such an impact. So this is spotlessagency.com. That is the virtual software. It's in the Power Program page, the Power Program under, where am I? I got so many things open right now. Hang on. Where is that? Where's my Power Program? Okay, I can't find it. Okay.
Some recommended vendors.
There it is. Okay, well, because I got out of the screen. Hey, Julie, I just noticed something that we have to fix. Julie, can you see my screen?
I can.
Yeah, so when I click on spotlessagency.com, it brings me to the page within the Power Program. In other words, we should have these links open up a new web browser, a new tab, so that way the agent stays on the Power Program site. Yeah, are you with me?
I am.
All right, thank you. All right, now let me go to some of these questions that I got here. Okay, now, yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, by the way, let me just read this idea. I actually posted this on Facebook for you guys. Hey, don't forget the Facebook group. We're putting a lot of stuff. I'm going to talk about this one in a second. Let me open up Facebook. Let me go to our group. Gang, there's a lot of stuff that we're always posting in the Power Agent membership for you. And in our closed group, that whether it's a video, we're welcoming Power Agents, but there's links to companies, like this is the Spotless Agency that I posted, and there's other companies that we recommend. We'll put it in Facebook here for you too. Okay, now one of the things that I talked about was if you wanted to get a FSBO or expired's attention with a letter that you want to send to a homeowner. So when you go to, let's say you wanted to send a series of FSBO letters. Somebody's got some noise in the background. I'm not sure what that is, so if somebody can mute their phone or something, because I hear that. FSBO, prospecting. If we go to the prospecting tab, yeah, if you hit *6, very good, somebody did that. There's these expired letters that you can send out to an expired. And if you were to take one of these letters and we put it as a Word document for you, so that way you can customize it. So here's the letter. If you wanted to get an expired's attention or even a FSBO, you can put it in, if you go to the post office, you can get one of those overnight express envelope looking things, or go to FedEx and use a FedEx envelope. So if you were to take a letter and put it in one of these overnight looking envelopes, that will definitely get the attention of the homeowner. Julie, I'm going to have to mute everybody because for some reason, Julie, you may have to unmute yourself with *6 again, maybe. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's close this. All right, now we have a question here. Joseph Fields, are you on the call? Joseph Fields, if you are, hit *6 on your keypad because you had a question. So that way I can hear you. If not, I'll just read your question.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
Very good, Joe. So, Joe, where are you located? Where are you from?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. I love Atlanta. You guys are having a good market there. There's a lot of good press I've been seeing in the news about Atlanta, Georgia. You've got outside investors from Europe coming in because you've got some good pricing there. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, your question. Ask me your question, buddy.
I'm about to go on a listing, actually, and I'm a bit new at this. And I would like to know the things that you have to tell a guy to repair or not to repair when you go through his home on the visit.
Yeah, so, Joe, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so, Joe, I'm under Classroom in the Power Program, right? You'll see it says Farming and Self-Promotion.
Exactly.
And when you go to Farming and Self-Promotion, you're going to see here Let me see where I can find it. New homeowners checklist. Wait, let me see which one it is. Farming and self-promotion. Let me see if I can find it. In here, I'm sorry, Joe. I thought I saved it. The importance of pricing it right. Move up new homeowners. Julie, if you can figure it out. In here, there is.
What are you looking?
I'm looking for what improvements a homeowner should make to a property.
Oh, somebody said fifth from the top. Let's see.
Yep, yeah, I got it. Whoever said that, bless you. The problem is I got too much stuff on here. So, Joe, when you click on home repairs to make before selling, it's gonna open up this PowerPoint, and you'll see it right there. Repairs to consider before selling your home: fogged windows, leaky jet, rotten roof, blah 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 blah. Now, what you could do with this, Joe, you can actually edit this. This is a PowerPoint, so what you can do is put your photo in there, put your company information in there, and so there's your flyer already created for you.
Oh, wonderful. You know what? I have a problem. Maybe it's my computer, because I went over to the classroom section and I tried to download that, and it came down as a PP, and it wouldn't open on my computer.
Yeah. So here's what that is, buddy. You have you need to have PowerPoint on your computer.
Yes, I do have that.
It might be a version thing, so upgrade to the newest version.
It may be.
And we will be having PDF versions of everything are all being created now too. So it's as simple as just opening it up, and you can open it up as long as you have Adobe.
Okay.
So look for those in the new section coming up.
Okay, maybe it's my computer, because it just didn't open up for me.
Yeah, that means, Joe, that you don't have it means that you don't have the software, or you have a lower version. Now, Julie, but he brought out a good point, is that any of the PowerPoints that you have, do a file save as a lower version of PowerPoint, like PowerPoint 2000.
Will do.
And that will fix that for Joe. I'm sure of it. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Did that help you, Joe?
Helps me quite a bit. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. There's a ton of stuff in here for you, Joe. So especially that you knew, just take your time and go through these things. If you have a question about a listing appointment or prospecting, just go to that category tab. I'll tell you something else you can do here that's pretty cool. If you go to, if you see my screen where I'm under classroom, let me click off. Let me go back here. You'll see up here there's a little search button in the upper right-hand corner. And if I were to type in the word staging, then what you'll see is, okay, wait, I didn't do it right. I did it too fast. Staging, more results. I did this before, Julie, and I know it worked better than this. So let me see. Boy, I feel like this
technology when it works,
hung
right?
up on technology. But we're going to keep improving these search buttons. But I know for preparing a house for sale, or whatever you want to type in the search, that might also help you, Joe. Okay.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Good question. Put yourself back on mute, buddy. Star 6. Teresa Zarconi, are you on the call? Teresa, if you're on the call, hit star 6. And while she's getting ready, Tim O'Brien, are you on the call? Take yourself off mute by hitting star 6. And while they're doing that,
Darryl.
Hey, Tim, how are you, buddy?
Fabulous. How are you?
Good. Tim, before I answer your question, I just want to let people know, I want to make an announcement to everybody. Listen, gang, when you're in the tabs of the classroom, if you find something that you think should be in a different category, like if you find them as, because here's the thing, we put so much up here for you, we're going to still have challenges. We keep changing this website to make it better for you. And if you see something that's like a listing appointment thing and it's in the buyer tab, well, it doesn't belong in there. Let me know. Send me an email. Send an email to us saying, hey, Darryl, you've got something in the wrong place. or if you can't, like Joe, when you try to open up that thing and it didn't work for you, please let us know so we can keep making these improvements for you. We are working around the clock to keep bringing this as a resource to its next level as far as the Power Program website. All right, Tim, so go ahead, ask your question. I got your question, but ask it in your own words, okay?
Awesome. Thanks, Darryl. So, I get lots of buyer leads through Zillow, Trulia, and so forth, but seller leads are a little bit tougher to come by. I was hoping you could share what the best agents are doing to generate seller leads.
So I loved your question, Tim, because there's a couple of things that we did for you. So can you see my screen also?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if you were to go to recommended vendors under that classroom tab, we just put this up. We really just did it for you, Tim. And that is, there's this thing called Smart Zip, right? And I'm going to click on that, and you can just watch my screen. You can go back to it later. But what this company does, so there's a lot to it, right? But this is designed to help you find listing leads. But let me jump to where it says agents. I want to show you the piece of this that I really love, because they do a lot of things. But this is the thing I want to show you, is fill in your pipeline. Yes. If you can see my screen, right in the center it says, over to the right, is your home worth more than you think? And what happens is the homeowner in that little gray field would type in their address. Now this is what they're actually doing. It's a lead capture, so it's capturing their information. So when they fill that out, they're going to fill in their name and phone number and all that stuff. And this is dedicated for sellers curious, wanting to find out what their house is worth by filling out this little form that actually captures listing leads for you. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So I really, really love this. Now, I got to tell you, I don't know what the cost is. They have a lot of, you'll see the products, they have a lot of other things that they offer, but that's one of my suggestions for you to check this out. I super love, because let me tell you something else. This, having your own landing page where people can fill out of curiosity what their house is worth, you can take that link and put it in all your social media. You can post it on Facebook. You can post it on Facebook groups in your community. You can do a postcard mailing. There's a lot of things that you can do to drive people to this website. And the only person that's going to fill it out is the seller, because they think they're going to get an immediate pricing of what their property is worth online, which is what some of these other guys do, Zillow and et cetera. So anyway, that's one of my suggestions. I have another suggestion for you, and let me see if where I have that. Okay, it's this one. It's called Bold Leads. This is another company where you basically claim a city, and they start driving leads to you. Now, I know of a company, I won't mention their name, but this one company, they've got like 500 agents. They bought all of the leads in where their offices and agents operate. So they bought a huge marketplace, and it's costing them, I think, $10,000 a month. Now, that's for a company, so they spend a lot of money. But when I hear a company spending $10,000 a month with one company like this, Bold Leads, then I say to myself, well, they've already done the research and the due diligence. There might be something to this. So when I heard about it is why I wanted to tell you about it. Okay, Tom? Tim, I mean,
yeah.
Wait, I'm not done.
Awesome.
Over here, placesetter.com, Placester, Placester.com. 9 ways to use LinkedIn for real estate leads. So there's an article there. What I'm going to do is, let me do it like this. I actually posted this link in the Facebook group. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to send it to everybody in this message. So those of you that are logged in, I just sent it to you as a text message. Did you see that, Tim? Did you get that text?
Actually, that part of my screen is pixelated, so I'm not able to see that. I can see that you're doing something to the right side of my screen, but it's pixelated.
All right, well, here's what I'm going to do. Watch this. I'm going to go to the Facebook group, the closed group, and I already did this. It's already in here, but it's hard to find it. I'm going to post it again from conference call. So it's going to be at the top from conference call. And there we go. I'm posting in the Facebook closed group. Bada bing. It's at the top of the thing now, okay?
Thanks, Darryl.
Yeah, you're welcome. And by the way, I learned something about this Facebook group, all Facebook groups for those. Over to the left, Tim, if you can see my screen, it has Power Agent members, and then it has all this stuff. You see where it says search this group?
Yes.
I think if I were to type in, let's try this, Playster, there it is. It found it.
Nice.
So if I ever post something, I reference something, I can't find it, or even if you want to see, is anybody talking about prospecting in the group, if you type in the word prospecting, there you go. Look at all these things that just popped up. Okay. Here's another thing, Tim, that I suggest for you. And that's this 35 ideas for Facebook. Now, this flyer here, Julie, we have it under, let's go here. We've got it in prospecting, I believe.
In prospecting. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And if I go to prospecting, Tim, and I see here 35 Facebook Live ideas, there's the flyer, which we also posted on Facebook. Do you see it?
I see it.
Yeah, these are ideas to do videos on Facebook, like live videos. And now I want to show you something. I'm going to this agent, Brianna. Brianna, this woman, she's been showing up in my feeds, and she's doing a lot of good things. I want to point this out. First of all, she's got her own business page on Facebook. She's got call now, send message. She's got a great header. This is a great header. I mean, it looks like she designed the header specifically for the size that Facebook wants. So she's creating this virtual store. Now, she's got these photos, but she does a lot of videos. And I've been looking at the dates and when she posts things. She's posting closing, she's posting this, and she's been doing a lot with videos, which she's starting to create this little video blogging that she's doing in her group. Are you with me, Tim?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I think is a great idea to also generate leads, and especially listing leads, is going over to these Facebook Live ideas, pick out like 3 myths about selling your home, 3 questions to ask every real estate agent. I would look at these Facebook, because we gave you 35. I would pull out the one specifically that a seller would be interested in and come up with a weekly. Now, she seems to be doing videos monthly, March, April, February. My recommendation is weekly. If you did weekly videos that were almost like training tips for sellers about selling their home, you're going to start to get a following. Here's the other thing that I'd recommend, Tim, is where I live, there's the Shore and Wading River community group. There's 7,000 members in this. You get 7,497 members. And I'm going to tell you something. This group posts so many things. It's a really active group. When people lose a dog or people need a recommendation for something. Now, what I'm amazed by is I don't see any one agent actually work in this group. And my recommendation is if you find a group, Tim, that where the market is that you work, make sure you become a member of that group and pay attention to the group every day. You should look at the group, and if somebody says they lost a dog, like here, asked me to share this, my friend lost their dog, like I would write a comment here, I will keep my eye out for the dog for you. So try and help people. If people are looking for a recommendation for a gardener, add that recommendation. And then once in a while, I would post a real estate thing. So for every real estate thing that you would post, you should probably help people 5 times. Help people 5 times with something that they need. And then your 6th time, put a real estate thing. Maybe the real estate video about the 3 myths about selling your home or an open house that you're having. Okay? Is this making sense, Tim?
It does.
Okay. So there's a bunch of ideas that I give. Now listen, Tim, there's also Red X. There's also call-in FSBOs and call-in expireds. There's also door knocking. You know, there's so many different things that you can do when it comes to generating those listing leads. You know, we have also these ideas that we're posting every month for you when it comes to like door knocking stuff. They're called smile ideas. So like here's April smile stops. Here's things to do in April. I know there's May somewhere, but let me go. Yeah, let me go back to what's new. You know, every month. What's that, Julie?
I think it's at the bottom of that.
Yeah. So if I go to smile, where would it be, Julie, for May?
Smile Stops May. Yeah, you just passed it. Right where 184 things realtors.
There it is. There it is. Smile Stops for May. So there's some ideas for May that we gave you a couple of weeks ago, Tim, where you can do some door knocking and create these cute little handouts to give to people. Okay. All right. Did that help you, Tim?
That's helpful. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome, buddy. All right, Teresa, are you on the call? Okay, so here's the question that she had, gang. I'll read her question. She said, I'm committed to making 10 expired calls each Saturday, but I mostly leave messages or I'm rudely hung up on immediately after they hear realtor out of my mouth. So I've been making a number of calls I committed to, but I feel like I don't get the opportunity to have many conversations. I call them all back the following week and leave a message and hope someone will call me back. My plan is to do 5 times before I take the number off my list. I spoke to my broker about it. His suggestion was to not limit the number of calls, but to keep calling until I speak to 10 people. My initial thought was, wow, that could make me, I'd be calling all day. Am I being a weenie? Am I making excuses? Should I up my number of calls or should I keep at it? So, Therese, here's my advice to you, is I think really the problem is that you're only calling 1 day a week, and that's Saturday. The thing about just calling 1 day a week, even if you call a lot, there's a few things that doesn't work about that. Number one is if you went to the gym once a week, you probably wouldn't see any return on your time invested. For you to get to see muscle and mass and get thin, you'd have to go to the gym at least 3-4 times a week. So that's number one, because when you're making calls on Saturday, if you go the rest of the week and you make calls again Saturday, like you're not improving. See, if you make calls on Saturday and it doesn't go too well, and then you make some more calls on Monday and then Wednesday, like there's something about your memory. You'll remember a couple of days ago maybe what worked, what didn't work, but a whole 7-day spread, I think, is your problem. Also, if you're not in a good mood or you're not in a good zone on Saturday and you just keep doing it, you're going to just create bad habits. So breaking it up during the week, you know, we all know this about ourselves. Sometimes we're in a good mood, sometimes we're not, sometimes we're motivated, sometimes we're depressed. So, you know, if one of those Saturdays you're not in a good place, you're not going to get good results. So breaking it up, I would say a minimum of 3 days a week, specific time. I think during the week, I think around dinner time is the best time to call, and I would try that. The second thing I would do is improve on your ability on the calls. Maybe on the next coaching call, if I can talk to you, I can actually role play with you and see what you're doing when people are hanging up on you, how you're stopping them from doing that, okay? All right, so that's it on the questions that I got in advance. Does anybody want to ask me a question? It's open to you guys. This is your call. This is your time. If you hit *6, you can take yourself off mute. Unless, Julie, do you have something that somebody texted a message?
I'm trying to get up to those. We had a couple newbies.
Somebody emailed. I emailed it in to you from Emily Chang.
Okay, hang on a second. So, Julie, just stand by. I just heard somebody talk, but I couldn't hear you, darling. Could you speak a little louder?
It's Sarah. I actually emailed you in a question from Emily Chang a little earlier.
Okay, I have my emails closed, Sarah, so you'll have to read it to me.
Okay, sure.
Well,
so
Sarah,
Emily.
Julie, you're up next. Go ahead, Sarah.
It's from Emily Chang, and she says she's dealing with a seller that has an older house in a community where all the other houses are brand new and much higher priced. The seller's house is big and it has nice features, but it's not comparable to the brand new properties. What is the best advice for marketing this property?
Okay, so you broke up a little bit there, Sarah. So let me just see if I got it though. So she's what's the agent's name? The power agent?
Emily Chang.
Emily. So Emily, she has a listing. It's an old house. It's in the subdivision where there's a lot of new homes, and so there's a problem with marketing it because it's in a different area than what's prominent. Is that right?
Yeah, the surrounding houses are all newer, higher priced, and she's having trouble marketing the new house, the old house.
Yeah, so, you know, it depends on how old. So, Emily, my answer to you on that is without seeing the photo, without seeing the house, like what does old mean? Does it old with character or it's old because it's friggin' nasty old?
No, it has character.
It has character. Okay, good. Well, you know, listen, if it's got character and, you know, there's buyers that, so I love older homes with character, wood, blah, blah, blah. You know, April, my better half, April, she loves newer homes and clean. So we have totally different tastes when it comes to real estate. So my point here is that if there's going to be a buyer that's going to want that house if it does have character. So you just have to be patient in the marketing of it. I wouldn't do any different marketing, but what I would look at, Emily, is what I said at the top of the call. You know, how are you best presenting this house? Have you taken really good photos? Have you been putting it on all the social media networks? You know, I'm going to tell you something. There are some agents, they are so anal about the photos where they'll take photos based on the daylight when it's going to show the front of the house better, like there isn't shadows. And, of course, when you take the inside, you don't want dark photos of the inside of the property. So I'm going to tell you something. It's the little things that make a difference. You know, Walter Cronkite, when on one of the Apollo missions, before we started using the space shuttle, so the Apollo, we're going back to the 60s and 70s. Walter Cronkite said something really interesting. Yeah, I may mess up the math, but he said that there's over 2 million, there's 200 million different 2 million different instruments in the Apollo capsule, that if like 1% of any of those things go wrong, or 1/10 of 1%, that was like 2,000 things that could go wrong. And again, I might be messing up the numbers, but the point that Walter Cronkite was making is that 1/10 of 1% could kill these guys or make the difference in them getting home. So when you're a listing agent, gang, I can't stress this enough. It's that 1/10 of 1% of your impeccability on how you're marketing this property to all the other agents out there. So you've got to go through your listings. Did you write the remarks the best that you could? Are you explaining everything? Have you verified it? Are you using virtual tours? Are you taking great photos? Are you making it easy and accessible to show the property? All of these little things makes a tremendous amount of difference. And once again, I'm talking from personal experience of what I've been going through the last 30 days myself. All right, Julie, did you have something?
Yes. Hi, I have my first appointment tomorrow with a homeowner. I just told them that I want to come see the house. Should I treat this as a listing appointment, and what should I take for him to get him on board?
Oh, great question. So, first of all, whoever said that, congratulations on getting your first listing appointment. That is so exciting. Now, a couple of things is, don't get too stressed about getting the listing. If this is your first listing appointment, I want you to look at it as dress rehearsal before actually opening night. So be okay with making mistakes. Go there with a commitment to learning. That's number one. Number two is, yes, you should turn it into a listing appointment, that you bring your stuff with you. You should have a planned conversation that's going to help you in communicating with the homeowner about what you do to market properties. I'm going to go to the classroom for a second. Julie, what was the name of that power agent?
I just have guests on mine. I don't have a name.
Okay. Well, let me show you. When you go to webinars, do we have that in here? Julie, where were those videos that about the blogging? Where are those? Oh, is it their blog? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, gang, if you go to blog, there's been a lot of things that I posted recently about the listing appointment. This is one of the blogs right there, the list, taking them to the kitchen table. So there's a couple of videos there from a live class that I did at the beginning of this year about the listing appointment. And, of course, if you go to classroom under listing appointment, you're going to see a lot more stuff that's going to help you in getting ready for that appointment. There's a bunch of flyers here. Oh, there's the videos. Good job, Julie. Thanks for moving those. So the videos were in the blog, but they're also here. So whatever power agent asks that question about the listing appointment tomorrow, go to the listing tab and look at all of those links and pull out whatever you think is going to help you that you like. But I will tell you real quick, when they answer the door, I'm going to give you a short version of it. When they answer the door, you greet them, thank them, and bring them to the kitchen table and put down your stuff at the kitchen table. Tour the house, focus on rapport, come back to the kitchen table, and then sit down, and they'll sit down with you. And then ask them, so gang, tell me where are you moving to, why there, when do you need to get there by? And then the last question you're going to ask them is, if I can help you get to Florida with the monies you need, would you be interested? And if they say yes, you then open up your listing conversation book and you start sharing with them how you do what you do and why they may want to consider hiring you. Another option is you can take an agent with you that's got experience and see how they do their listing appointment, and that would be another option. But yes, you want to turn this into a listing appointment. Okay, great. Is anybody on the call that'd like to ask me something? Hit *6.
Hey, Darryl, real quick.
Yep.
For the brand new agents, if they go back to the blog, we just recently posted the 7 things you should stop doing on the listing conversation. So obviously the opposite of all those is true for a brand new listing agent. And also to search the blog for the face-to-face presentation, part 4, because the part 4 has all 4 pieces of the listing conversation.
Okay, great.
So that's all in the blog.
That's all in the blog. Okay, so, I just typed in part, and there's a lot that came up. So let me see if we can find that.
Go to page 2 of the blog.
Yeah, I'm in the blog, yeah.
So go out of your search, or just go to the blog.
Yeah. I'm doing it. I'm here at the blog. There's the 7 things you should stop doing, yeah?
Scroll all the way down.
Whoops, I clicked on it. I was too excited. If I scroll all the way down.
Go the way down and go to page 2 of the blog there.
Okay. And then we've got...
down a little way. Right there.
Yeah.
This is part 4.
Yeah. So, gang, especially for the new agents, right here there's on page 2, like Julie just directed us, there's presentation part 4, part 3, part 2, part 1. So I recorded these videos in 4 parts on how to do each one of those parts. So, okay, good. Awesome.
Perfect.
All right. Somebody who's got a question, hit *6 on your keypad.
Hey, Darryl.
Yeah, who is it?
Johnny from Houston, Texas.
Hey, Johnny from Houston, Texas. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing great, man. I'm enjoying the knowledge you're giving us. I just had a quick question. I'm really focusing on these listings right about now, and I don't know whether to go ahead and list in the Vulcan, Mojo sales, because I know I'm going to need leads, and I know I'm going to need to go through them, but as far as me feeling that I'm going to be able to use it as far as much money as I'm going to be spending right now, I don't know. What you suggest about that?
All right, so let me make sure I got what you're saying. So you're concerned about spending too much money on buying leads, is that right?
No, I don't buy leads. I make sure I'm actually just going to. I don't call it buying, but I guess if you're using Vulcan Sales for them to give you seller leads or for sale by owners to call, that's what I was trying to do, and that's the only thing I was going to pretty much be using it for. But like right now, you know, for me to make 10 calls, I feel like that is progress. But for me to pay Vulcan monies just to make 10 calls or to start out with 10 calls, you know I need to go through the numbers to get my listings up. But what do you suggest as far as should I go ahead and pay the money and just have a lot of leads that I could call?
Yeah, man. So you're talking about Vulcan and using their system where they're giving you the leads to call and making the calls. Is that right?
Yes, the for sale by owners. Yes.
Yeah, man. No, you should definitely do. Well, listen, we don't promote Vulcan. We promote RedX. But I don't care. You know, they both have their strengths and weaknesses. We prefer RedX. But if you've already got an account with Vulcan, then you should do it. You should pay it. And because that's great money spent, because what you're paying for is not they're finding the leads for you and they're putting it into an organized format for you. In other words, they're doing the heavy lifting for you, which means all you got to do, buddy, is sit down and make those calls, dial for dollars. You follow me?
Okay.
Yeah, so my answer to you is absolutely stay focused on that. And I've got to tell you guys this for you too, man. You know, that you can't give up hope. Like if you start making calls or you're door knocking and you're doing activities to build your business, you're going to have problems. You're going to have challenges. You need to push through those because you don't want to stop when you're 3 feet from the gold, right?
Okay.
You know, keep going, keep on keeping on. It's going to connect. It's going to work. The secret to success is consistency. Consistency. So you got to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. Eventually it's going to stick for you, all right?
Okay. Sounds good.
Did I help you, man?
Yes, you did. I was on the fence on not getting it or getting it, and I know it's just something I know I need to maybe get if I'm trying to get my listings up.
Yeah, man, you need to do that because otherwise you're going to be having to find the leads yourself, and it's going to be a pain in the butt. Make sense?
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right, buddy.
Darryl.
Yes.
Right, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's Denise. I had emailed you earlier with regards to Zillow and chatting with another agent locally. She was getting frustrated because the listing leads, the buyer leads on her listings are going to premier agents on Zillow.
Yeah.
And she wants to know, well, how does she prevent that or reposition herself in order to be getting those leads without necessarily spending $700 a month with Zillow?
Yeah. Okay. You know, that's a challenge. If she's got listings, but these other agents are spending money and they're grabbing what might be her leads on her listings, that's what you're saying?
Right.
You know, there's not much she can do. I mean, unfortunately, there is other things she can do. There's other marketing she can do. You know, the more she puts it out there, whether it's through other social media ways, those buyers are not just going to Zillow, they're going other places. So hopefully they will see her information on one of the other platforms that she's promoting her listing on, and she'll grab that buyer that she's missing out to Zillow. And one of the things that I would do to help with that is anytime she promotes, and this is a good technique I think for all of us, whenever you're promoting your own listing, I would actually say you're promoting your own listing. You know, deal directly with the listing agent to get the most accurate information about this home. I think that's a brilliant idea. Okay. You know, anytime that you advertise one of your listings, I just made this up, and I think it's brilliant. I am so smart. I think what we should all do is when you promote your listing, wherever you're promoting it, I would put in there, deal directly with the listing agent for all your real estate questions. I think that's going to help distinguish and send a powerful message to buyers. If they had a choice, if they saw that listing 2 different places, but the agent is saying, I'm the listing agent, I think the buyer is going to go there. Of course, if a buyer has exclusivity with another agent, that's a different story. I want to point something else out. Hang on. I'm going to go back to, where is she? This agent that I was talking about. Let me go back to her. This Brianna, I want you all to see in her Facebook business page, for those of you who can see it, she's been promoting her social media handle. I hear paper. Who's doing the paper thing? Special Agent Segura. I can't say her last name, but it's Special Agent. And I thought to myself, well, that's a cool idea. You all are power agents. You should have maybe your social handle could be Power Agent in your last name. So I would grab that URL or that Facebook name, and but keep something in mind. You've got to be a power agent to use that as a registered trademark. So, you know, if you decide to not become a power agent, that could be a challenge for you. But as long as you're a power agent, you can promote and use Power Agent. So I think Power Agent Davis, Power Agent, you know, Kamatsikama is a great idea. So what else did I want to say about that social media, about other agents promoting the listings and get leads? You know, the other option, who asked that question, by the way? Who asked that question?
Denise.
Denise?
Yep.
The other thing, Denise, is the other option is that the agent probably got to spend more money to outpay the other agents that she's losing leads to. But your question was how to do it without spending the money. You know, that's a tough one. I tried to give you the best idea I could on that. By the way, I'll tell you one other thing. Gang, in this hot market, with listings being on the low inventory, I would definitely, now this is what I did as an agent. If I got a listing that was 5%, if let's say the norm in our marketplace is to pay out 50%, that means I pay out 2.5. I'm going to keep 2.5. But when it's a seller's market and it's harder for an agent to get the listing, like that's the heavier work, that's the harder work, then the listing agent should get paid more. So when it was hot markets, what I would do, especially if it was a hot listing, I would take, let's say that, well, first of all, I didn't get 5s. If I got 6 and 7s and sometimes 8s. But let's say it's a 6. Instead of doing 3 and 3, I might pay out 2.5 and keep 3.5 as the listing agent. So to me, the selling broker's commission is a marketing tool that if you've got a hot listing that's going to sell quick and it's a hot seller's market, I would pay out less. If it's a hard listing to sell, like Emily had the question about this unique colonial that she has in an area that's all newer homes. If it's not moving, maybe one of the things she could also do, instead of paying out 3 and 3, maybe she pays out 3.5 and she keeps 2.5. So the selling broker's commission is a marketing tool. Based on the property, what are you willing to pay out? All right. Do we have any other questions? We've got 5 minutes.
Darryl?
Yes.
Hi, this is Angel. I'm a power agent.
Hey, Angel.
How are you?
Good, sweetie.
I have a question for you. I've been getting the listing appointments for FSBOs, which people are like remarkable because I use your techniques. But when I get there, it's like this, well, I'm still going to do it myself. I'm still going to, I still want to try it myself. What do you think is the time? Like, how many times should I call them back? Like, should I wait 2 weeks to see, how are you doing? And stuff like that. Because I'm finding that if I don't, they hook with other agents.
Right. So here's what I'm sorry, hon. I missed your name because it broke up a little bit. What's your name again?
Angel.
Angel. Listen, Angel, and this for everybody. When you get a listing appointment, you have to go committed to getting the listing or not. Like, don't think follow up. Now, I'm going to answer your question, Angel, but just give me a second here. If you get used to thinking follow up, you're going to go to the listing appointment with less conviction and urgency in your speaking. If you go, Angel, with this attitude, I'm either getting it or I'm not, you're going to go a little bit stronger and you're going to push yourself a little bit more. If they push back, instead of you saying, oh, okay, I'll follow up, you'll be like, no, Darryl said this is my last shot. I got to try. Are you with me, Angel?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two is to answer your question, and then I'm going to go back and say something else. I think you should follow up as often as you feel you need to, because it really depends on what you said when you saw them face-to-face, what they told you their level of commitment is when they're moving, and what your follow-up call was before that. So there's no right answer, like give it a week, give it a 2 weeks. It depends on how hot the listing is, how convicted you are, how you think you can help them, how committed they are, all of those things. Now, one other thing, too, in the classroom, Angel, you'll probably find some things that you can call them about for no reason to give them a gift. Like, maybe there's a checklist in here, I don't know about the smooth home sales. I just clicked on something that maybe you can give them some. By the way, I put this newsletter here, or this little checklist for people selling. I want to send it to you, and you can drop it in the mail to them, or drop it by. So there's things in there that you can think of. Now, last thing is if you got in the door, which congratulations, that's the hardest part for most agents, right? So if you find that you've had a breakthrough, Emily, in getting the appointments, what you want to look at is how are you scheduling the appointments? Do you feel like you're scheduling it where it's in the middle of an open house, or it's on the weekend, or they don't feel like you're going to come over and sit down and talk with them? That really is just to preview the home. So you want to make sure you're getting a qualified appointment where they're going to have a chance to actually talk to you. So you want to come over, see the house, and see how you can help them. I don't want to rush this. I want to see what you guys have and see if there is a way that I can help you get to where you got to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but a lot of times they're always, well, I have an uncle or an aunt or a cousin. They're real estate, I'm like,
yeah, so
everybody's got somebody.
Yeah, of course they do. And half the time they're lying. When you tour the house, Angel, when you're done touring the house, tell me what happens. We're going to go past 12 o'clock a little bit because I will finish helping Angel. Not too much, but just a little bit. What's happening after you tour the house, Angel?
Well, after I tour the house, they show me the house, and I ask them questions about the house, and then I tell them, like, where are you going? Last one I was on, they said that they want to move out of state to their children, and I said, oh, that's wonderful. They have grandchildren they want to see, and I said, are you in a hurry to move? And they said, no, not really. I know what my house is worth. I have a lawyer who's a friend. And
all right, stop, Angel, listen. First of all, these questions with this particular homeowner, were you sitting down at the kitchen table, or were you doing these questions while you were standing?
We were standing at the kitchen table.
Not okay. So that's mistake number one, Angel. You need to sit down.
So I should ask them, may I sit?
Yeah, no, don't even ask him, darling. Just you had your stuff there. You toured the house. You look at it very nice. Here, I would just sit down, Angel.
Okay.
Just sit down, baby.
I guess they'll follow after that.
They will follow you. They will sit down with you, or they will throw your ass out. They'll say, "Why are you sitting down? We ain't feeding you." Sit. You have to sit. Now listen, Angel. The listing conversation starts the moment you sit down. If you're not sitting down, you're not having a listing appointment.
I see.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does.
So that's mistake number one, sweetie. Number two is you have to think how a homeowner thinks.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, the homeowners are listening through, you're a salesman, I don't trust you,
Right.
So when you ask the question, are you in a hurry? What they heard you say is, how desperate are you, and how quick do you got to sell this, because then I can ask a higher commission.
Right.
So that was the wrong way to ask that question to a FSBO. Are you in a hurry? They're going to get defensive with that question. So actually that question, you lost some ground.
Mm-hmm.
So the way to ask that question is, it's several questions. So where are you guys moving to? Why there? Is there a time frame that works best for you as to when you want to make that move?
Mm-hmm.
Did you already find a house down there, or okay, good. You do not want them to think you're asking questions to close them, sell them, negotiate. Are you with me?
Yes. Yes.
So that was another thing with that particular person. So there's a couple of things that we just point out. Now, I could probably do an hour call just for you on what you're doing on the appointment. But here's what you need to do is it's not the sellers. It's something you're doing that's creating you not getting the listing, okay?
Okay.
And those are a couple of things we just looked at. You got to sit down and you got to pay attention how you're asking the questions.
Okay.
And so start with that, okay, sweetie?
Okay, thank you so much, Darryl.
All right, you're welcome. Well, gang, we're 2 minutes after 12, and I see almost everybody standing on the call. I really appreciate you letting me go over there to help Teresa. I hope this helped you. We recorded this call, so this call will be posted on the website for you by the end of the week, so that way if you want to go through it again and some of the websites that I talked about and some of the parts of the Power Program, those pages, because I know I was really bouncing all over the place because I was so excited to share so much with you. Please let us know if you find any glitches on the Power Program site or if there's anything else you want us to add. And we're going to continue to add. We have a whole team working on populating the website for you to have incredible stuff to help you bring your business to the next level this year. So last thing I'm going to say, gang, don't forget, we don't just help people buy and sell real estate. We actually help them get to their next level. And so the more people you help get to the next level in their life, the more money you make. The money you make is a gauge as to how many people you've helped. So go out there, be committed to helping people get to their next level in their life, and the money will follow. And of course, last but not least, don't forget to keep smiling. All right, I'm going to take you all off mute so we can say goodbye to all of us.
Really be Thank you. Well, maybe he might want to be worried about the IRS because I told him. And even that year before we filed taxes, I said, you know what? Here's the thing. I can go on the return. We can file again.